Paul Weller names 3 musicians he hated the most. Paul Weller, born John William Weller, is a celebrated English musician and songwriter recognized for his significant influence on British rock music. He gained fame in the late 1970s as the lead singer, guitarist, and primary songwriter of The Jam, a band he formed with Bruce Foxton and Rick Buckler. The Jam quickly became a vital part of the UK music landscape, leading the mod revival with their distinctive sound and style. Emerging during the punk wave of the mid-70s, Weller and the Jam extended beyond the limitations of the era by infusing their music with rich influences from the 1960s. This fusion helped define the sound for a generation and revitalized the mod subculture in Britain. After the Jam split up in 1982, Weller collaborated with Mick Talbot to form the Style Council. This new venture enabled him to explore different musical styles, incorporating elements of soul, jazz, pop, folk, hip-hop, and classical music. Although the band initially found success, their popularity declined in the late 80s, and they disbanded in 1989 after their record label refused to publish their final album. Weller embarked on a solo career in the early 1990s and successfully re-established his reputation with a series of acclaimed albums, such as Paul Weller, 1992, Wildwood, 1993, Stanley Road, 1995, and Heavy Soul, 1997. Often referred to as the mod father, Weller has become a key figure in British music history. His influence can be felt across the works of numerous artists, from Britpop icons like Oasis and Blur to contemporary musicians like Alex Turner and Miles Kane, many of whom credit Weller as a significant inspiration. However, Weller is also recognized for his candidness and strong opinions. He has not hesitated to voice criticism of artists he disapproves of. Below are 3 musicians he has openly criticized. Sting. Paul Weller is known for his blunt opinions, but his animosity towards Sting is particularly intense. The former leader of the Jam once made headlines when he spat on a photo of the Police frontman at the Royal Albert Hall, demonstrating that his harsh words were not enough to convey his feelings. The Mirror described this act as part of a vitriolic hate campaign directed at Sting. In one interview, Weller said, "He's a horrible man. Not my cup of tea at all. Rubbish." He expressed his belief that Sting has no edge, no attitude, no nothing. The animosity has persisted over the years, and while Sting appears to remain composed, Weller's passions have always run high. Robert Smith. Among music feuds, Paul Weller's remarks about Robert Smith, the frontman of The Cure, are among the most fierce. Weller didn't merely criticize Smith, he unleashed a barrage of insults, ridiculing his appearance and even threatening violence. The tension dates back to a 1985 interview, where Smith dismissed punk as a political movement and made a remark directed at Weller. Punk had nothing to do with politics or social issues, Smith stated, adding, "People like Paul Weller who think they're socially aware, believing in them doesn't do any good." In a more recent issue of Record Collector, featuring a special on Weller, a journalist mentioned that a new song by Noel Gallagher had a similar vibe to The Cure's A Forest. Weller's response was one of disgust and disbelief. "Really? I can't stand them," mocking Smith's appearance and declaring, "He's my age, isn't he? I'd never work with him. I'd probably slap him." James Blunt. Paul Weller, often called the mod father and famed for his contributions with the Jam, the Style Council, and his enduring solo career, is not one to soften his critiques. His rebellious spirit has long defined both his music and attitude, and he doesn't shy away from expressing his thoughts. So when the prospect of performing with James Blunt at the Brit Awards arose, Weller gave a typically blunt response, "I'd rather eat my own shit than duet with him." James Blunt, in response, appeared unfazed, calmly stating, "I was never asked to do a duet with Paul Weller, so I don't know why he said that. I don't care." Paul Weller's honesty has always been part of his charm and his fury just as famous as his guitar riffs.